Good morning, students. In the last class, we learned how acid react with metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates. And we learned how acid react with metal carbonates and some of the equations, especially when acid react with metal carbonates, it gives salt, water and carbon dioxide. And also the term we learned, effervescence. I hope you know what is effervescence, right? And then acid react with metal hydrogen carbonate. And the same thing in metal hydrogen carbonate also, when acid react with them, they also gives salt, water and carbon dioxide, right? And also we learned how to identify the gas comes out is carbon dioxide. Okay, there is a test to identify that. This is also we learned in the last class. When we pass this carbon dioxide into calcium hydroxide, it gives calcium carbonate, and that calcium carbonate, it turns into a milky color, and that calcium carbonate is always insoluble in water. That is why it is comes as a precipitate. And when we excessively add carbon dioxide into calcium carbonate, it turns into calcium hydrogen carbonate, and that is soluble in water. Okay, that means a precipitate, it won't be a precipitate, it comes to a normal water like substance, right? So this is what we learned in the last class. Today we are going to learn 2.1.4, which is given in your book. How do acids and bases reacts with each other? When acids and base react with each other, this is one of the example of neutralization reaction. Okay, there is an activity given in your book 2.6. You can go through that activity. Okay, I just want to make a very short note of what is actually given in this activity. So you should take 2 ml of a dilute sodium hydroxide and then add 2 drops of phenolphthalein solution, and the color turn into normal phenolphthalein. When it is added 9th standard syllabus, it turned into a pink color, right? So when we add dilute sulfuric hydrochloric acid drop by drop into that solution of sodium hydroxide, slowly there is a change of color takes place. Okay, that this activity we learned on 7th standard. Hope most of you maybe you can bring back the memory, just and keep that in your mind what we learned in 7th standard. There also we learn the same activity. When we add drop by drop of sodium hydrochloric acid into sodium hydroxide, where we add an indicator, the color slowly changes to a normal colorless solution. When we add even more sodium hydroxide again the color pink color reappears. Okay, so that means when this color changes, when acid neutralizes the base, there you cannot see the indicator, and this phenolphthalein indicator shows color only in the base. And when we add an acid, when this base becomes equal with acid, then the color disappears. Okay, so when we add again a base into that solution, so when base increases, then again colors reappear. Then when we add acid, then the color disappear. So this is a activity which is given on the 2.6. Okay, what is actually we should learn from this reaction? So when a acid react with base, it gives salt and water. That means the reaction between an acid and a base to give salt and water is known as neutralization reaction. Okay, that is what we are going to learn now. Okay, what is neutralization reaction? So how do acid and base react with each other? From that activity 2.6, we learned that acid react with base to give salt and water. Okay, here is an example. Acid, we have taken hydrochloric acid, base sodium hydroxide, both are strong acid and strong base. When both are reacted together, you have to know this reaction H plus Cl minus Na plus, because it's an metal, and OH negative. So always a positive go and stick with the negative, and positive with the negative, and here it forms NaCl and H2O. Okay, this is how the reaction forms. That means it forms salt, sodium chloride and water. So always when an acid react with a base, you will find salt and water only. Okay, we'll write one more example. We'll take H2SO4, that means sulfuric acid. When we add sulfuric acid to potassium hydroxide, and both are strong acid, this is strong acid and this is strong base, this is potassium hydroxide. So when we add these two, what happens again? H plus SO4 minus, K plus OH minus. So potassium combines with sulfate and H will combine with OH. Okay, what we write? K2SO4. And you should know always potassium is a metal, comes front, and the sulfate comes at the next. And this formulas, 9th standard syllabus, how to create a formula, right? And then H2O, and this we need to balance. So K2 here also 2 and here 2, and it becomes 2 here, so 4. Now it's balanced. So this is how when an acid react with a base, it's always gives salt and water. And what is the name of the salt here? It is potassium sulfate. Okay, next, the topic given in your book now. Just go to the book now. 2.1.5, reaction of metallic oxide with acid. Activity given here. Take a small amount of copper oxide in a beaker and add a dilute hydrochloric acid slowly while stirring. Note the color of the solution. What has happened to the copper oxide? Okay, this is an activity. That activity we are going to do now. Okay, I want you to remind you about what we learned in 7th standard, so that you can easily get what is metallic oxide and non-metallic oxide. Okay, metallic oxide. Just a glance of what is metallic oxide. When we learned in 7th standard, we learned on what are metallic oxide. When this metallic oxide comes, I just want to remind you, when a metal like magnesium combines with oxygen, it gives magnesium oxide. Here magnesium is a metal. When it is burnt in oxygen, it turns into magnesium oxide. That means burning of magnesium, the bright color comes, and the rust, or the ashes which is formed after the magnesium ribbon burns is magnesium oxide. And this magnesium oxide is basic in nature, right? In 7th standard or 8th standard, maybe you have tested this by adding some water into this. After adding water into magnesium oxide, it becomes magnesium hydroxide. So when we test this magnesium hydroxide with a red litmus paper, it gives changes to blue color. So here we understand that magnesium oxide is basic in nature, and base changes, because of its base, it changes the red litmus into a blue color. Okay, another one thing I want to tell you, even in the same class we learnt then when sulfur, when it react with oxygen, or when a sulfur is burnt, it gives sulfur dioxide. And the sulfur dioxide, or in other word, this is metallic oxide. That means metal magnesium oxide. when non-metal, sulfur is a non-metal, okay, when non-metal burned it with oxygen, it gives non-metallic oxide. Okay, what happens when we add water into non-metallic oxide to test that whether it is acidic or basic? So what happens, it becomes H2SO3 and this is sulfurous acid. And when we test the sulfurous acid with blue litmus paper, it changes to red color and it shows that it is acidic in nature. So one thing you have to make it in your mind, that when metal react with oxygen, it gives metallic oxide, and that is basic in nature, always basic. When non-metal react with oxygen or burned with oxygen, it gives non-metallic oxide, and that is always acidic in nature, acid. Okay, that is what we are going to learn here. And here we learn that, and the activity also given, you should take a metallic oxide, and here also we are going to take the same. And in activity say that copper oxide needs to be taken, right? Here you can see here copper oxide should be taken in a beaker and add dilute hydrochloric acid slowly. So when we add dilute hydrochloric acid slowly into that, it changes, it gives, in other word, salt. The salt what is formed? Copper plus, that is positive, and oxygen is negative. Hydrogen is positive because it's having acid, H plus ions, and then chlorine is negative. So what is going to combine? And H and O is going to combine, and copper and chlorine is going to be combined. So it becomes copper chloride plus H2O. So when metallic oxide combines with oxygen, it gives salt and water. Okay, copper oxide, so metallic oxide combines with hydrochloric acid, it gives copper chloride and water. And this copper chloride, that is what we are going to learn, and this can be asked in your exam also. The color of the solution, what happens, what is the color of the solution changes. You will notice that the color of the solution become blue green and the copper oxide dissolves. The blue green color of the solution is due to the formation of copper 2 chloride in the reaction. So the solution, once we add hydrochloric acid into copper oxide solution, immediately there is a change of a blue green color, and this blue green color is the color of a copper chloride. Okay, and copper 2 chloride, why it is given copper 2 chloride? Show that the valency or oxidation state of the copper. Clear? Right. Now go to the other thing. So I want you to look at this. Metallic oxide react with acid to give salt and water. And the equation is not given in your book. I want you to take a note of this equation which I have written here. Okay. Now turn to the page 22 and look at here. Since the metallic oxide react with acid to give salt and water, as we have seen before, similar to the reaction of the base with an acid, metallic oxide are said to be basic in nature. This is what I told you before. Always a metallic oxide is basic in nature. Now we are going to look at this next point, 2.1.6, reaction of non-metallic oxide with base. So just keep it in your mind, non-metal, it can be a sulfur or a carbon or a, right, you can take whatever non-metal it is. So the reaction is going to take between carbon dioxide and calcium hydroxide. Carbon dioxide is non-metallic oxide. Carbon is non-metal and oxide, right? Carbon dioxide. And base is calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is a strong base. In other words, it is said to be a lime water. Okay, what happens when these two react with each other? Okay, let's see here what happens when a non-metallic oxide react with a base. Let us look at this equation. Non-metallic oxide, I am going to take carbon dioxide. Non-metal, carbon dioxide is a non-metal. It is going to combine with a oxide and react with the base. The base also given in your book, that is calcium hydroxide is the base. So when these two combines together, we get calcium carbonate plus H2O, and this carbon dioxide combined with calcium hydroxide, it gives calcium carbonate plus water in that. Okay, and this calcium carbonate is, yes, always you should know that a salt which is formed here, this is calcium carbonate, yes. And this non-metallic oxide, always you know that it is acidic in nature. Carbon dioxide is acidic in nature. This is calcium hydroxide. So whenever a non-metallic oxide react with a base, it gives salt and water. So you should know one thing, whenever a metallic oxide or a non-metallic oxide, when metallic oxide react with an acid, it gives salt and water. When non-metallic oxide react with the base, it gives salt and water. Okay, hope you will understand this equation. Maybe this equation you have already seen this equation, right? Yes. Okay, now look at this book, and you can see that when which is a base, that means calcium hydroxide, react with carbon dioxide to produce salt and water. Since this is similar to the reaction between the base and an acid, we can conclude that non-metallic oxide are acidic in nature. Metallic oxides are basic in nature, non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Okay, right. So this is the end of the topic we have learned today. Today we learned 2.1.4, that is how do acid reacts with how do acid and base react with each other. It's one of the neutralization reaction, right? And then reaction of metallic oxide with acid and give salt and water, and we learn an example of a calcium oxide with hydrochloric acid to give us salt and water, and then a reaction of non-metallic oxide with a base, and it gives salt and water again, and it and non-metallic oxides are acidic and metallic oxides are basic in nature. So this is what we learned today, and there is a question which is given in your book now at the page number 22, and this is what we are going to discuss now. Okay, what are the questions? I have written the question as well as the answers. You can go through this, and if you have further doubt in these questions and the pages we learned, you can please ask me through WhatsApp. Okay, we go through the first question. Why should curd and sour substances not be kept in the brass and copper vessel? You should know that curd consists of an acid, which is a lactic acid which is present in curd, or sour substance. Whatever the substance is sour, that means they contain acid in that. Okay, this we all know that. What happened with these kind of substance are kept in brass and copper vessel? Why this is not kept in brass and copper vessel? We always used to keep it on steel glasses or whatever, or somewhere in glasses. Okay, we never keep it on these two vessels. Why? Because you know that brass is an alloy. Alloy means it's a homogeneous mixtures of both metal or non-metal or both metals, two metals. So alloy is a mixture of metal. That means it consists of a copper and zinc in that. And curd contain acid, right? It's an organic acid. It's not a strong acid. It's not an inorganic acid. Since inorganic acids are very strong, even you cannot handle it in your hand. These are organic acid. You can eat it. So when these react with each other, they form soluble salts. Easily they mixed with them. And these salts are not good for health. They are poisonous and make curd unfit for consumption. So you cannot eat that curd. If you eat that curd, and it's actually a poisonous one. That is the reason we cannot keep, or we should not keep, a curd or a sour substances in brass and copper vessel. Clear? Okay, go to the next question. Question number 2. This is the very simple question. Even you can try by yourself. Which gas is usually liberated when an acid reacts with a metal? Illustrate with an example. How will you test for the presence of this gas? I hope that you all know, when an acid reacts with a metal, it gives salt and hydrogen gas. So what is the gas comes out? What is the gas liberates out? Yes, it is hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas is going to come out. And how can we test this hydrogen gas? Yes, when the gas is coming out of the test tube, okay, this is the test tube, and here we have taken some zinc metal and we pour some acid on it. When all the gases are coming out from this is nitrogen gas. We can take a matchstick, light the matchstick on, keep it on the mouth of the test tube. It will be popped off and comes at a pop sound. And this is how we can identify the gas comes out is a hydrogen gas. Okay, now go to the third question. Metal compound A. So it's a metal compound. So compound means it is not only a metal. So it is a metallic compound combined with some other non-metal or kind of a substance. React with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce effervescence. Okay, I want you to remind you about this effervescence. Whenever you learn effervescence, it is always only one gas. It is carbon dioxide. Okay, the gas evolved extinguish a burning candle. Okay, another clue is also given. And the gas which is coming out from this, when an air reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid, can extinguish a burning candle. So how the burning candle can be extinguished? Yes, even when you blow, so it can be extinguished. The gas comes out from your mouth is also a carbon dioxide. So write a balanced chemical equation for the reactions. If one of the compound formed is calcium chloride, so they have given one clue also. The one of the product which is formed is calcium chloride. Okay, we'll write an answer for that. Effervescence and a gas evolved is extinguisher or extinguish can be always carbon dioxide. So A will be a metal carbonate, right? Whenever a metal carbonate react with acid only, it produce carbon dioxide. So here the metal carbonate is calcium carbonate. Okay, here we write the equation. Calcium carbonate react with hydrochloric acid to give calcium chloride, and this is what the salt produce, and mainly the gas coming out is the carbon dioxide and water. Clear? And this is the end of the topic what we learned today. Hope you all understand this, and further if you have any doubt on this topics what we learned today, please ask questions in my in WhatsApp and to my personal number. Okay, student, take care and have a nice day.